Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this Tuesday, the 28th of September, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. Now, let's get started and let's open up the charts right here. First thing I want to talk about is Yellen, the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America, says that the debt ceiling drop dead date is on October 18th. What that basically means is they've been using money from the Treasury General account. And all they got left is a couple $100 billion. Okay, that's like if your bank, you couldn't get to the bank or something, and you only had $20 left in your purse. It's basically, for you guys, that's what it would be like. They only got $200 billion left. That's like $20. You have $20 left in your purse. It ain't going to last, and it's only going to last until October 18th, and she's letting them know in no uncertain terms. Now, what would happen if they go past that date? Well, Social Security checks aren't going to get mailed out. I could go on and on with the list. What's going to happen if they go past that date? Because they're going to be effectively out of money. Now, you know where this all stems from, this whole problem? This is a debt-based system. And what that basically means is they've, to the whole world, creditors have extended a credit line. And, you got to think about this for a minute. In the old days, if you didn't have the money, you didn't buy it. There was no lines of credit or whatever. If you didn't have the money right now, you couldn't buy it. You just didn't have enough money. What they've done is the creditors create money from nothing. Basically, it's just a book entry. They own the world now because they've extended the world credit. I know, it's the craziest thing in the world. But the whole world is basically taken out by, I think it's like $300 trillion worth of credit that the creditors created from nothing. And now the world owes it back to the creditors. And the money is all created from credit. Now, see, that wouldn't be a problem. We could just say to the creditors, well, whistle for your money. The $300 trillion the world owes you, whistle for it, The problem is the creditors have been smart enough to connect the credit to the money itself. The money is a creation of credit. So when this enormous margin call goes out, all of the money would basically go poof. That's called a deflationary. In a deflationary event, that's serious enough. All the money will go poof because it's all credit. And the outstanding debt is so much larger than the amount of money that's in existence. It's unbelievably amount larger than the actual money that's in existence. So all the money would go poof. The only money that wouldn't go poof is the money that has actually been printed into real form that actually exists in the real world, like change. Everybody's got a big, some change at home. Maybe different people, they always dump it out of their pockets, and they save it up for a rainy day. That money wouldn't cease to exist. And the dollars that you have in your pocket in real tangible form, that wouldn't cease to exist. But this is an event that Bix Weir's talked about for years. I remember him talking about it years ago, how if the whole thing went poof, all the money would disappear. Except for maybe your pocket change and your money that's in your wallet that way. And what would happen is it's credit, lines of credit, and it's all of this liquidity that's in the system that enables the system to function. You would remove that, and the system would basically stop. Now, I figured it out. There would be somewhere around a 40% credit contraction, a contraction of the economy. And that's what we had in 2008 during the great financial crisis, was a contraction, where the system would freeze and lock up. The entire system. We're talking about everything. You see what they're having gas problems in the United Kingdom right now? You know how things are freezing up in their gas system and they can't get gas? Well, everything would freeze up. Everything. Because everything in this world runs on what they call money, which is actually just credit. So you can't have a deflation, a real deflation that would be unchecked. They have to constantly keep creating new credit in order to keep the system running now. It's a debt trap. There's no way out of this debt trap. Almost like an animal that's caught in a trap. There's no way out. It has to end one of two ways. Either the whole system deflates and it all locks up, or they keep it going, keep the wheels greased by pumping ever new money out there in ever expanding quantities until in the end we're flooded with the stuff and it's worthless, totally worthless money. It's the only two directions this thing can go in. So Yellen says that debt ceiling is we're going to basically run out of our credit on the 18th of October, and this could set up for a huge crisis if they don't do something about this and expand the credit further. What else is going on? In China right now, from what I see, China has power outages, and it's posing a new threat to supplies of chips and other goods. So China produces just about everything over here that we use now. You know, you want something, you have to go to China and get it. You have to go to Amazon, and Amazon directly ships everything practically from China. Almost everything you buy off of Amazon, you know. There's these power outages going on in China, you know, and what does it say here? It says the government efforts to curb energy consumption and reduce carbon emissions along with surging coal prices are leading to power outages across many of China's manufacturing hubs, threatening to further disrupt constrained global supply chains, from semiconductors to other vital goods. Right now, squeeze is on. It's only going to put prices up further. I told you guys, if we don't have this market crash between now and March will be too late. What's happening is the inflation is starting to accelerate through the system and get embedded or entracted into the system. It's just part of the system it'll become. That's what'll happen. And if we can't get some sort of a deflationary event between now and next March, by next March, the inflation's going to be running so hot and so fast through the system that it will be intractable. You can't get rid of it, in other words. It'll be a disease that has rooted itself in the inflation by next March. And it'll be ever accelerating by then. But even if we do get a market crash, they'll have to bring us out of it. And that'll just make the inflation run hotter and quicker. Silver price today, we're looking at down 15 cents. So it's at $22.45. What a great time to buy gold and silver right now. They still have some supply. Yes, there is a premium that puts a little bit of a damper on it, you know, and you have to pay like a $7 per ounce premium or whatever, you know, but still, there's a time coming not too long in the future where you won't care about what you paid for it anymore and the premium or whatever. The only thing you'll care about is that you actually have some when it comes to silver. There's a time coming in a not too distant future where that's actually going to happen. Because we're going to go through this hyperinflation, guys. And it's going to be a fairly quick moving thing. You know, probably by 2025 it'll be all over. They will have done something. I don't know what they're going to do, but they'll have done something. I don't see any other way out. They're going to have to go back to some sort of a standard where they have something real that is behind the money, giving it value again. This is the end of fiat money. Fiat money meaning money that's not backed by anything except the government's word on it. Not going to take their word on it anymore. Once this is over, people are going to be like, what's behind this money? If they're going to have money, they're going to want something hard substance behind it. Either gold, silver, maybe they'll back it with Kryptos, I don't know. But they're going to have to back it with something that just can't be printed to infinity. After what's going to happen. We've never seen a worldwide hyperinflation before. We've always seen it limited to just like one country. And so that particular country will reach out to something else that they can use of value for to keep up trade, because you can't have you can't have any country go without trade. Black markets will establish themselves extremely quickly. People are going to trade and commerce. You can't have a country without trade and commerce. So they'll use something else. If the currency becomes worthless, they'll use something else. And when we have a country that has a hyperinflation, they'll always reach out to something else. In this case, it's going to be the whole world. So what else do they reach out to? They can't reach out with another fiat currency from some other country, because that's what they always do. Have a hyperinflation, generally they'll reach out to the dollar or some other currency from some other country that does have value, when their own currency doesn't have value. But this time it's going to be all the fiat currencies don't have value. They'll have to reach out to something. In my mind, I see two things standing out there. Maybe they'll reach out to both of them, or maybe they'll reach out to just one. But the two things are gold and Bitcoin. Those are the two things I can see them reaching out to during a worldwide hyperinflation. And I'm thinking they're going to reach out to both. But maybe it'll just be one or the other. Maybe it'll be gold, maybe it'll be Bitcoin. I don't know, but I'm thinking both. But you have to understand something about this. Is the money are all over the world, all the fiat currencies will be losing value rather rapidly in a worldwide hyperinflation. And so they'll be transferring their wealth or their value into what the people reach out for. So if they reach out to gold, gold's going to go up enormously in its purchasing power, and the dollar will go to nothing. If they reach out to Bitcoin, Bitcoin will go up enormously in its purchasing power. And if they reach out to both, they'll both go up enormously in purchasing power compared to the fiat currencies. And that's what'll be used in trade rather than the fiat currencies. And this can happen rather quickly, and so trying to put a price on gold or silver or cryptocurrencies, you can't. Priced in the fiat currencies, because you have to understand they're going to go to zero ultimately in the end. Either that or they're going to go poof in a deflationary event. They just all disappear because everybody's over leveraged in the system. You try to pay all that debt off, the money disappears. And that's what deflation would do. And I hear an awful lot of these guys on YouTube here arguing how we're going to have a big deflation and it's going to drop 80, 90%. First off, it can't drop 80 or 90%. It's going to get down around 40 or 50% and the whole system will lock up. I heard Peter Schiff talking about this, how the system could deflate. And as I was sitting there listening to him talking about it, I was saying to myself, oh my goodness, if that happened, if Treasury yields surged up, I don't know how, they'd go absolutely enormously high, the system would just lock up. It ain't going to happen. You just ain't going to keep the system running if everybody in the system goes bankrupt because of a deflation suddenly. That's what almost happened in 2008. They're terrified of it because it would lock the system up and the system wouldn't run. And they had to get right in there quick. They said they were only a few hours ahead of it. Well, the same thing could happen again. And if they can't get in ahead of it, the whole system could just basically implode on itself. Then they'd have to try to unlock it because they'd have to unlock it. And the only way they can do that is print an awful lot of money. If they do that, then the money becomes worthless. We're just going in circles with all this, guys. It ends in a crisis. What we're experiencing right now is the final stages of something that has to end in a crisis. There's no other way for it to go. It has to end in a crisis, either by deflation or by inflation. Now, inflation is far more likely, only for the reason is who is going to, what politician has the audacity to say, hey, we're going to do the right thing and we're going to let all of this malinvestment purge from the system. None of them are. They're all going to get out there and try to kick the can down the road further so that they can just stay in power. And so that's what they're going to do. And kicking the can down the road just means printing a whole bunch more money and papering over the whole thing. And they're just going to keep doing that and doing that until we're into a massive hyperinflation worldwide. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to deflate. They're not going to let it deflate. Yeah, it'll try to deflate, but they won't let it go too far because it frightens them. Really frightens them. If real deflation starts, it really frightens them. Anyway, let's get right on here and let's take a look at gold today. Gold is up, down $11.60. And, they're manipulating the price of these metals, to the downside, and they only got a very short period of time left to comply with Basel III regulations. And this means that any of these unallocated gold positions, what are they going to do with them? Because the end of the year, the whole thing, that's it. Unallocated gold positions, if they're holding them, are not going to count fully as full reserve. They're only going to be partial reserve. And that the banks, that would leave a hole in their books. And so they got to get rid of these unallocated gold positions between now and the end of the year. And it's only October, November, and December. Last quarter, So we could see something big happen in the gold and silver market as they comply with new Basel III regulations. But then on the other side of this thing, we got an awful lot of people hoarding right now, hoarding gold and silver, because one of the things is it's cheap, and the second, this price hasn't went up. Price is going up on everything else except for gold and silver. So this is a great time for buying physical metals. You don't have to buy. Some people don't buy because they figure, well, I haven't got enough money to buy physical metals. But I got enough money to go to McDonald's and spend $50 on some junk food. Well, you know what? That could have bought you just about 2 ounces. That meal at McDonald's. And all it did was give you heartburn. And you'd be surprised if you did that once a month. Instead of going to McDonald's and getting all sick on whatever, I don't know what they're putting in there, but getting all heartburn and everything. Instead of doing that, go out and buy yourself 2 ounces a month. You'd be surprised how it'll add up. First thing you know, you'll have a 20 ouncer, of the stuff. And it'll only take a few months, And it's cheap right now. It's one of the cheapest things you can buy. Let's take a look at Kryptos today. 1847 for crypto today. That means it's down. We're looking at a Bitcoin price of 41,565. This stuff's the weirdest stuff there ever was, this Kryptos, But on all the cryptos, Bitcoin is a hoarder's dream. And the reason why is because of the way it's put together right from the ground up. It's something that people want to HODL or hold on for dear life to. They're Bitcoins, And the reason why is it's limited quantity of them, And it constantly gets harder and harder to mine them. It takes more and more electricity to mine them, more and more work to get them. And it's on a declining function. I mean, every 4 years, there's only going to be half as many Bitcoins coming into the marketplace every 4 years. You put all those things together and you've got a deflationary currency, a currency that's deflating. Now, at the same time, you get all these fiat currencies out there that are inflating, doing the exact opposite. And this is why we saw the price of Bitcoin go from 5 cents against the US dollar all the way up now to 41,500 and something dollars against the US dollar over just a very short period of time from 2009 until now. This will continue. Bitcoin wants to be the new gold. Honest to goodness, it does. It wants that title. It's got one good thing going for it. The fact that it can move quickly and seamlessly across the internet. Gold can't, you know. Gold has got 7,000 years of human activity using it as money. It's the perfect money. And it's got qualities Bitcoin doesn't have. Like one is if the power goes out, where's Bitcoin? You know? So Bitcoin's got a few advantages. It's got if it was a prize fighter, you know, Bitcoin would be over there in the corner. And what's Bitcoin got? Well, he's got a really strong left hook. What's gold got? Well, gold weighs 450 pounds, and he's got his weight behind him. You know, so the two of them have advantages if this was a prize fight. And that's what it is. It's actually a prize fight between gold and Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the Dow today. The Dow's at 34,435. It's down 433 points. And there's one reason for this. Big reason for this. Is bond yields are rising. I told you guys a few days ago, talking about the bonds, I said these yields rise too high. It's going to adversely affect the stock market. Well, now it's happened. Yields have risen to the point. Now we can see the level that yields can go up to, especially on the 10-year, where it starts to turn the stock market down. So we see that point. And I thought it would be a bit higher. I thought it would be somewhere over 2%. But it's not. Anyway, the stock market's down 433 points today on the day so far. Let's take a look at oil. Oil's down 21 cents at 75.24. Now the MOVE index is starting to shoot up. It's at 60.50, and this is an indicator that there's a little bit of trouble in the system right now. You got China sitting on her hands because she hasn't got any electricity. It's going to put pressures on almost everything you buy. You need a part for your truck? Guess where they make them now? Everything. You need a spring for your washing machine? Guess where they make them? And they're sitting over there in the dark, and the factories have all chugged to a stop, practically. What do you think's going to happen? You know, I mean, we're going to have to start using our ingenuity to repair our things. We might have to, if something goes wrong with a brake hose or something on our car, we might have to jury rig with something together like they do in Cuba. You know, they've had to do that for years in Cuba, repair their own old parts and stuff to keep everything going. And we might be doing that here in America in the end. You know, we might not even be able to obtain parts because we've taken all of our manufacturing and we've just gone, oh, we don't need that anymore. We don't need to manufacture everything. Everything's made in China. Well, suddenly, all of a sudden, here the brakes come on. That's all ending. And suddenly, take a look at bonds today. You know what they're doing? They're rising yields. We're looking at 1.52 on the US 10-year. Now, that's enough to trigger the market. I thought it would take 2% to trigger the market. I didn't think it would trigger it below 2%. This is an indicator that the economy is in more trouble than you could imagine if it's only taken 1.5% to trigger the stock market. This is a really bad indicator that we're actually in more, higher yields on these U.S. treasuries. How much can they get away with? If they could get away with normalizing rates, which would be maybe, say 6% on the U.S. 10-year, and the stock market didn't fall, that would mean our leverage is in a more normal position. But the thing about it is when we see only 1.5% triggers the stock market, means that we are so over leveraged. We're like a guy with credit cards, and he's reached the max on all of his cards, so he can't even buy something that's worth $10. That's where we're at right now with this over leveraging the system. The more over leverage we get, the less bond yields can move, the less room they have to move. And so now we see that it's even worse than I thought. I thought we could get to 2%. We only get to 1.5%, and the market starts to turn downwards. The system has to run in a very narrow, to run at all now at this point, it has to run with a very narrow margin of everything staying at a certain spot. So there's no room for the Fed to use tools like they used to be able to raise interest rates, like Paul Volcker did, back with a more normal system. System's not normal anymore. It's just a mess. It's a hot mess. Let's take a look now at the dollar index, and we're looking at 93.73 on the U.S. dollar index. The dollar's going up today. Going up gradually, but it's going up. Thank you guys for listening to my show, and now for the pets. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now for the pets. The first pet we're going to be looking at comes from, it comes from Kimberly. I'm not sure if I showed this picture before. I can't remember. But anyway, this is Mandy, a 7-year-old dog. Very, very nice picture, taken out in the nice sunshine on a nice summer day. Let's take a look at this next one now. This is a pet called, this is from Paul, and it's a 16-year-old long-haired mini dachshund below, and this is when she was younger, the dog, the mini dachshund, and really cute pictures of this dog. Okay, so for the third dog we're going to look at is a German Shepherd. And his name is Panzer, and he says, this is my best buddy, and he's 8 years old. And he's a really nice-looking German Shepherd. It looks like he could, he's 8 years old now, but it looks like when he was a little bit younger, he could have been in dog shows or something. Very classic German Shepherd breed. Thank you guys for listening to the pets and listening to my show. Remember, like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon, and lots of comments, guys. We need lots of comments on the show. I try to read all you guys' comments. I particularly look for questions in the comment section, but it's a daunting task every day to read all the comments, because there's a lot. But I like a lot. That's what I like. Guys, keep pumping out the comments there, even if you just want to say hi. That's fine. That's great. And you guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And let's hope everything works out for the best. Bye-bye, guys.